So here are the answers to questions 1 through, you had to do questions 1 through, was it 15?
Yeah.
Yeah, questions 1 through 15 are right there. If you could go ahead and check your answers again, so I don't have to talk quite as much. I am gonna go over ones you guys asked me to go over. So mark the ones that you're getting wrong, so you know which ones we need to go over. Again, you're just checking to see which ones you got wrong. Mark down the ones you get wrong, so we know which ones we need to go over. Okay, so I'm gonna start right here. I'm still checking, Remy. Okay, so I'm gonna start right on question 1 without even asking if you guys need me to go over that. Because it's kind of something it's something I actually didn't even mention. I'm not sure I even need to mention it, but I'm going to pretend right now I'm teaching you how to do question 1, okay? So I'm actually not pretending. I really am teaching you question number 1 today. And it says, which interaction between the atmosphere and the hydrosphere causes most surface ocean currents? And really the one thing I wanted, so the correct answer was the friction from planetary winds on the ocean surface. So it's really just saying that the ocean currents have something to do with the wind currents. And I would like to, or the wind patterns. And I would like to point something out. Here's the wind patterns. What was one thing that we said about all the wind patterns? Which way do they bend? To the right. In the northern hemisphere, they bend to the right. And in the southern hemisphere, they bend to the left. I would like to point out that if we look at those ocean currents, which way are the ocean currents bending in the northern hemisphere?
Everywhere.
No, they're not bending everywhere. They're only bending one way. Remember, you have to put yourself on that arrow. So these ones that are going north-ish, at least, they are mostly bending to the right-ish. They're going around in the right direction. Well, that one's not. Okay, so most of them are going right. Again, if you then look at these guys, they should also be bending to the right. So the ocean currents and the wind patterns follow each other. And that is where they come from. Again, I've never seen that question asked before. This one must have been a really old question. What other ones? I'm gonna call, did anybody get 100? Oh yeah, Chris, you got 100? Good. Landon, which one do you get wrong? Or name one you got wrong. Number 7. So why don't we all go to number 7? Oh, this is a good one. With these that are always talking about runoff, to me, I find it helpful to then think about, so this question wants, which condition makes surface runoff least likely? So if it's saying least likely, is that saying there's a lot of runoff or a little bit of runoff? A little bit of runoff. If we only have a little bit of runoff, where the heck is the water going? It's infiltrating, it's soaking in. So this question is also not only asking which condition makes surface runoff least likely, it's also talking about which one makes water soak in well. So it wants to know which one of these will cause the water to soak in well. If the surface gradient is high, will water soak in well or good? By the way, what is gradient? Slope. So this is saying if the slope is high, will we have the water soak in well? No, if the slope is high, we'd have a lot of runoff. What about if the porosity of the surface soil is low? By the way, what does porosity mean? Hole space. So they're saying there's a little bit of hole space. Will that cause water to soak in good or run off good? If the hole space is low, runoff. This is going to cause a lot of runoff. We want it to soak in good. So this is the opposite. What does it mean permeability rate exceeds the rate of rainfall? Oh. What's permeability rate? Let's start there. How easily it soaks in. So permeability rate is saying permeability rate is saying how fast it soaks in. And here, what is rate of rainfall? What'd you say? It's how fast the rain is coming down. So they're saying it's soaking in, exceeds means faster. So it's soaking in faster than the rate of rainfall. Will that give me the least amount of, least likely to cause runoff, which means soaking in well? If it's soaking in faster than it's running and then it's raining? Yeah, that means it's gonna soak in good. That is absolutely an answer. And then let's look at 3. Surface pore spaces are empty. If the surface pore spaces are empty, will it soak in good? Yeah, I don't know what's up with this question. That is why I gave you 2 different answers for that one. Mr. D, you have an opinion? Yeah, I think what happened is I made a mistake when I wrote it, and gave 2 right answers. I can't think of this being a real Regents where they were making you decide between those 2 very good answers. Okay. Yeah, I think it was me giving you 2 right answers there. Remy, did you get 100? Give me one that you got wrong. Like number 2, or you got 2 of them wrong. Ooh, perfect. Compared to an inland location, a location on the ocean shore with the same elevation and the same latitude are likely to have. So this is talking about being near a large body of water. Remember that large bodies of water like Lake Erie keep us slightly warmer in the winter and slightly cooler in the summer. So that is what we're looking for here, slightly warmer in the winter, slightly cooler in the summer. They really regulate our temperatures. They cause that temperature range to be a little bit smaller. So that is something that I promise you will be on the test. By the way, I officially made the test Friday. I think I mentioned it would probably be Friday, but it's officially Friday now. That will be on the test. You need to know that large bodies of water cause slightly warmer winters and cooler summers. The reason for that is in the winter, if the lake or the ocean is 37 degrees, but it's only 25 outside, that 37 degrees is going to make the area a little bit warmer. And then in the winter, if it's 90 degrees outside, but the lake is 75, that 75-degree breeze will cool us off in the winter. So it really just helps us shorten our temperature range. Drake, which one did you get wrong? Did you use your reference table?
Yeah.
Okay. Which one did you pick? Can I? Okay. So for this, they give you 4 cities that are not listed up here. But they are all listed here. So how I did this is I went through and I found the city. For example, here's Kingston. Kingston, if you notice, is pretty much lined up with this flat section, but it's over here in this, it's about halfway through this little area. So Kingston, here's that flat line, is about halfway over here. So I just did, I don't know for sure if that's where it is, but it's pretty darn close. So I labeled it. The next city was Old Forge. Old Forge is this little cutout right here of Lake Ontario. It's a little bit north of that and about halfway through this section. It's going to be around here, Old Forge. Mrs. Ritz. Yep. We're working on it. We're trying to find a room. But it will most likely be the June 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, right after whatever days those are. No. They can bring them in. Yep, okay. Yep, bye. All right, so I did the same thing with New York City, which is down here. And then finally, the last one was Plattsburgh, which is practically at the top right corner of New York State. And then I looked, Old Forge is somewhere in the 40s to 52 range, but Plattsburgh's over in the 20s to 30 range. So once you had all of those, you can see that Plattsburgh has the lowest average. Does that help?
Yeah,
Did you do it similarly?
no,
No? Did you just point to them? How'd you do it?
well, I thought of the mountains, there's like Kingston's on mountains,
So you didn't use this map?
no,
Okay. Did we forget to read these words?
probably,
Got it. Okay. That would probably, yeah. So I get it. You were thinking, up in the mountains would get more of the rain. That, okay, good thinking, because it could have been on the windward side of the mountain. That's good. But this map is the key here. This is one of those ISO maps, lines that connect, in this case, areas of equal rainfall. Okay, that would help. Give me one you got wrong. In the 1 through 15 range. 4. The Canaries Current along the west coast of Africa and the Peru Current along the west coast of South America are both. We had to find both of these. Here's the Canary Current. Here's the Peru Current. To start off with, they're both white arrows, so they're cool. So I would have started by crossing those top 2 off. And then we look at the rest of the answers. The rest of the answer is either they flow away from the equator or flow towards the equator. Well, here's the equator, the Canary Current's going towards, and the Peru Current they're both going towards. Did you maybe not use your reference table? Okay, yeah, definitely got to use our reference table. They flow towards, that's answer 4. Jenna, did you get any wrong that we haven't already gone over? 15. Ooh, this is a good one. Earth's entire equatorial climate zone is generally a belt around the Earth that has, first of all, where the heck is the equatorial current region? Near the equator. And looking at the answers, I want to know what they're asking about is pressure and whether they're dry or wet. Hopefully you remember page 14 of your reference table. So here's the equatorial climate zone. It's near the equator. First of all, it's labeled wet. So that should help you get rid of answer 2 and answer 4. So now we need to know, is it high pressure or low pressure? One way you could do this is remember high, dry, cool and clear. So this is wet, so it's not high. Or remember that winds always blow from high to low. So this is a low pressure. So it's low pressure and wet, which is answer 3. Olivia, did you get any wrong that we haven't gone over yet? Number 6. Which condition would cause surface runoff to increase? So just like I've mentioned before, surface runoff to increase. This means the water is not soaking in. So which one of these would cause the water to stop soaking in? And that's going to be taking dirt and covering it with pavement. Water can't soak into pavement. So if we take dirt and cover it with pavement, we'll have more water not able to soak in, so it will run off. So I think if you see what I'm doing here, and I do this, let me find my answer key. Maybe I can't find my answer key. Here it is. Nope. Okay, well, I don't know where my answer key is, but I can promise you I did this on each one of them. I can only think about so much at once. So instead of thinking of surface runoff, so I think of if it's running off, that means it's not soaking in. I'm better about thinking about what's soaking in and not soaking in than thinking of runoff. So that might be a suggestion to some of you. Sienna, which one do you get wrong? That we haven't already gone over. Both? Oh, yeah. So this is just something you have to remember. The reason why these arrows aren't straight up and down, that's because remember the world turns. Remember when I was shooting Santa's package? The reason why he can't make a straight shot is because the earth is spinning. That's the rotation. Alex in the back, you got any wrong that we haven't gone over? Alex in the middle? Trenton? Sam? That's 13. Which wind belt has the greatest effect of the climate on New York State? And by looking at the answers, they're talking about, here are our answers. Northwesterlies, that's this one. Prevailing southwesterlies, that's right there. The northeast trade winds or the southeast trade winds. So really, they just want to know which one of these are going to control our climate. And to know that, we have to know where we live. Sam, which one did you pick? Northwesterlies. I hope you weren't looking. Because if you were looking and you thought these ones down here were controlling our weather. Yeah, so I was thinking maybe you were gonna say the northeast trade winds. Maybe you eyeballed us wrong, but you can't just eyeball where we live. You do have to remember that our latitudes are in the 40s. We're somewhere up here. So ours are the prevailing southwesterlies. Does anybody else have any more that you want to go over? Yeah, Chris, you said you got 100. 19. Well, 19 you didn't have to do, but I can go over that one anyway. Which two gases of the Earth's atmosphere are believed to be greenhouse gases? This was a list you just had to memorize. Carbon dioxide, methane, and water vapor are the 3 major greenhouse gases. I want to ask you guys, how many of you had weird flashbacks to question number 5 right here? Yeah. Anybody have like this voice in your head that made you say something? No? Anybody read monsoons and think? And you thought? Strong seasonal winds. Oh, you did? Oh, they're bringing in all subjects. And look at this now in science class. These go along with the wind patterns. And one thing I don't think I ever pointed out, because we skipped this reading over here, that these wind patterns are only exactly like this. It says, this is what they do the location, the drawings to the right show some of the locations of the belt near an equinox. By the way, that's the first day of spring or fall. These locations shift somewhat with the changing latitude of the sun's vertical rays. In the northern hemisphere, the belts shift northward in the summer and southward in the winter. So these aren't what they look like all year, which leads to them being slightly different wind patterns in the summer and the winter. Did you guys get this question right or wrong? Question 5.
What was your?
2.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about why then. So we've got the winds for the monsoons in the summer. Where are they coming from? Where are the winds coming from in the summer, according to this drawing? First of all, the ocean, and second of all, where in the ocean? Near
The equator.
near the equator.
Didn't even see that.
Oh, boy. So I have just discovered the one you got wrong earlier, the one Sam just got wrong, and this one were all because we didn't see/read the words. So when you read these, you have to read everything. So for the summer, the winds are coming from the ocean near the equator. That tells me in the summer, they're going to be warm and wet. How are they different in the winter? Where are they coming from? Coming from land, so they're gonna be dry, and coming from the north, so they're gonna be colder. So it is really important that you guys, when you read, not only read words, but read pictures and the captions on those pictures. So we're done with the chapter. There is nothing left of this chapter except for more practice, which I think you need. So what I'm going to have you do is give pages 20 and 21. We're going to do those right now. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 questions. We have about 20 minutes left. So I'm thinking like you can do those 7 questions in 12 to 15 minutes, and then we can go over them. You will also have homework. So if you do finish that, your homework is the 12, I think actually 14 questions on pages 22 through 24. This is just stuff you guys need practice on. I want you looking back in your packet if you need help with the questions. So I think this set of questions is actually a really great question. It kind of ties everything together that we've been talking about. So you did have to read these maps, show the 5 climate regions of New York State. The bar graph shows the average monthly temperatures for these climate regions. Now, you should be noticing something about these climate regions. And hopefully, so you can see that number 1, since along the Pennsylvania border here, not really near any huge bodies of water, but if you do remember to check your reference table, you should notice that that area does include Chautauqua Lake. So it does have a little bit of a water there. The second climate region is this area surrounding Lake Ontario. Number 3, if you don't remember where that is, that's the Adirondack Mountains. This area along over on the the eastern part of New York State, that's over here. Yes, it's got this little bit of water here, but we're not talking about a huge body of water like an ocean or a huge lake. Well, number 5, that's surrounded by water. So let's talk about 1 through 4. They all kind of look the same. They all are cold in the winter, warm in the summer. Why does that look similar? What is the same about these 5 or 4 areas that will make our graphs look the same? I saw a few answers. What makes them cold in the winter and warm in the summer? Okay, they do have the same wind patterns, but we're talking about temperature.
So, wait for number 20.
20, yeah.
So, they're both around the valley, southeast England.
Yeah, that is not false. There's a way easier answer that we only want to know about temperature. No, because no. Oh, boy. What'd you say, Sienna? What? They're all about the same distance from the equator. These are all very similar latitudes. If we look, New York is right about there. Doesn't matter. Yes, okay, one of them is New York City is a little bit closer to the equator. But when we're talking about just a couple degrees, they all have close to the same latitude. Now, you aren't wrong that they are also in the prevailing southwesterlies.
I said they have some.
Oh, well, good. That's what you should have. Yeah, that's the answer. They all, because they have similar latitudes, they are all in the southwesterlies. So I don't know if I could have accepted that because it wasn't false, but I don't know if it actually answered the question. So what do you think? So they definitely made these based on temperature. They told you that. But what other reason did they decide to use these 5 places? I saw some right answers out there. So do they have something in common or is something completely opposite from each other? What'd you write? Let's go with what'd you write. What'd you put, Remy, for number 21? Okay, like a variable like what? Like a large body of water.
I said-
Yeah, perfect. So that's it. So you're not wrong. You probably would have had to elaborate. They either chose them because of their nearness to a large body of water or how far away they were from the large bodies of water. So it had to do, the other variable would have been nearness to a large body of water. Now, next question asks about location 3. Where the heck is location 3? And do you know that off the top of your heads? It is in the Adirondack Mountains. Do you have to memorize that? No, you don't. That area matches up with this area on your reference table. So why then?
the-
Yep, just the mountains are good enough.
Yeah.
Just being at a higher elevation will make them have cooler summers and cooler winters. You did have to make this graph. Hopefully you didn't skip it. Should have noticed it looked like this. I will caution you when graphing that, I know a lot of people rushed through this because it was just a couple minutes. If it was the regions, please take your time, make it look good, make sure you're estimating good. How I have to grade this is I will get a clear copy of the answers and I have to put it over yours. They will give you a little bit of wiggle room, but not much. So just graph carefully. Then hopefully for region 5, down here, it wants to know how the Atlantic Ocean surrounding climate region 5 probably influenced the average temperature of this region during January, February, and March. What'd we say? How did the ocean, what did you say, Brooklyn? I'm pretty sure I read yours. Atlantic blows warm air, which kept this area warmer in the winter. Anybody else have another answer? There's probably good other answers. Did your answers all say that or something? Do you mind reading it just so? Yep. Atlantic Ocean is warm. Anything that says the Atlantic Ocean is warmer water, warm ocean current there keeps the land warmer. All right, question 25. Compared to the conditions on the leeward side of the mountain range, the conditions on the windward side are not warmer.
Well, no,
Wa-
I said 1.
Oh, yeah. Oh, good. One, yes. Warmer. No, cooler and wetter. Skip 26 and 27 landscape regions that will undergo the best chemical weathering. Who remembers that review? It is for warm and wet.
Wait, it's 26 1.
No, it's going to be for
Oh, I got that right. I got two.
I think. I'm not positive, to be honest. I can Google it. I'm not actually sure what a mesa or a flat.
The only reason why I said tropical is 'cause
Oh, those are out west, so yeah, it's gonna be dry. It'll be dry, answer two. All right, you guys have homework. Your homework are the questions on 22 through 24. It is a perfect little mini example of what the test on Friday will look like. It's only 14 questions, but it is a good like range of what to expect on the test. Thank you, guys.